Obama in Las Vegas today. Oh, he's flying around. He's having a grand old time on our dime. Back on his class warfare. Then I want to unravel what he says because, again, he's a liar, so I have to unravel. And some of you get offended when I say that. Too bad. I have to fix it. Cut 7, go.
So what I've said is let's follow the Buffett rule. If you make more than $1 million a year...
Stop. Let's rewind it. Are you getting sick of his voice like I am? His condescension and his repetition. Like we're stupid. Go ahead.
So what I've said is let's follow the Buffett rule.
The Buffett rule.
If you make more than $1 million a year, you should pay a tax rate of at least 30%. Which, by the way, is lower than you would have been paying under Ronald Reagan. Nobody's talking about anything crazy here.
Yeah, you are talking about something crazy because you're lying. There's two different things going on here. The tax rate at the highest level when Reagan was done was 28%. So even if we take this 30% he's talking about, it is higher than the Reagan level. Now some of you are scratching your head saying, well, it's only 2 points higher. Now wait a minute. What Obama is saying is you should pay 30% on your adjusted gross income. So what you have are these tax rates, and then you have certain deductions like interest on your mortgage, or you have certain dependents, children, whatever, other deductions. What he's saying is for people over, and he's not just talking about millionaires, he's talking about any couple, any family, any small business that earns $250,000 and 1 cent. So let's get that straight too. But I mean, you're always having to unravel this guy. He's saying you should pay 30% of that to the federal government. He's not saying the tax rate should be 30% on your gross, and then you have an adjusted gross income after you take your deductions. He's saying your rate and the amount you pay should be 30%. You follow me? That's not what Reagan did. That's not what Reagan said. And yet he says it. But I'm here to fix it. He said more today in Las Vegas. Cut 8, go.
When Americans talk about folks like me paying their fair share of taxes...
Stop. Do Americans talk about folks like him paying his fair share in taxes? You know what Americans say about him? Please shut up. Please get out of our face. Please stop telling us about yourself. We don't care about it. Please stop telling us where to live our lives, what our children are to eat. Will you get out of our face? That's what Americans are telling you, Mr. President. Go ahead.
Because they envy the rich? Just yesterday, Bill Gates said he agrees with me that most...
Let's stop right there. So here are the two guys this guy's quoting. The two richest men in America, if not on the face of the earth, who have combined wealth of $100 billion. He's quoting them. $100 billion. I'll quote my producer. Mr. Producer, you don't have $1 billion, do you? Are you sick of what this president's doing? There, I'm quoting my producer, who earns less, I guarantee it, than Warren Buffett's secretary. Don't you imagine, Rich? Yeah, you'll take what she gets. She's in the top 1%. So now he's quoting billionaires to us to try and impress us with his argument. Only in America, ladies and gentlemen. No, check that. Only in Ameritopia. That's where we are. We're in Ameritopia. This phony utopian system being imposed on we, the American people. Go ahead, wind it to the beginning. I'll try my best not to cut him off, but I don't guarantee it. Go.
When Americans talk about folks like me paying their fair share of taxes, it's not because they envy the rich. Just yesterday, Bill Gates said he agrees with me that most that Americans who can't afford it should pay their fair share.
Stop. What did he just say? Did he say Americans who can afford it or can't afford it? Maybe I'm losing my hearing more than I thought. Can you go back? Roll it back. I just want to make sure I heard this correctly. Go ahead.
When Americans talk about folks like me paying their fair share of taxes, it's not because they envy the rich. Just yesterday, Bill Gates said he agrees with me that that Americans who can't afford it should pay their fair share.
Stop. It's a close call. I thought he said can't too. So Americans who can't afford it should pay their fair share. Smartest president we've ever had. Go ahead.
I promise you, Bill Gates does not envy the rich. He doesn't envy wealthy people. This has nothing to do with envy. It has everything to do with math.
Everything to do with what? Math? This guy's teaching us math? This guy with trillions of dollars in deficits building up year, he's our math teacher now? His wife is our nutritionist, while her husband's slobbering down cheeseburgers, and he's our math teacher. The guy who's created the biggest debt in world history. You realize that? Is now going to teach us math. This is the math. And he knows it because he's consulted with Bill Gates, who has tens of billions of dollars, and before that he consulted with Buffett, who has tens of billions of dollars. I don't know about you, ladies and gentlemen, but I think he's really connecting with the American people, don't you? It's not envy. It's not class war. It's math. Well, let's do the math. We take every penny from every billionaire. We take every penny from every multimillionaire. Is he going to stop spending? No. Is he going to stop borrowing? No. Does it make a significant dent in our deficit this year? No. Does it make a significant dent in our debt, period? No. There, I just did the math. I get an A. He gets an F. Let's go to a Democrat, John, Washington, D.C., the great WMAL. Go.
Hi, how you doing, Mark?
All right, sir.
Good. That's actually Josh, but not a big deal.
Josh,
I wanted to talk to you.
Go right ahead, sir.
No problem. I know you've been talking a lot about the Republican primaries, obviously, and basically I wanted to say from a liberal's perspective, I really don't think that from our perspective it matters all that much which of the 3 or 4 Republicans ends up winning, mainly because they all have kind of a similar stance when it comes to the only issue that really matters for the next few years, and that's the economy. And personally, I believe that the Republican approach to handling the economy, which, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's lower taxes, lower spending, and deregulation, is not the direction that will really help this economy recover.
So what will help the economy?
Well, let's talk about what Obama wants to do to the tax system.
Hold on, no. Let's not be a mouthpiece for Obama. Try and talk for yourself. So I assume if those things are bad for the economy, the opposite is good for it. In other words, more taxes, more spending, and what was the third one you mentioned?
Regulations.
Oh, and more regulations. Yes. So that's what we need, right?
Hold
on, pal. I asked you a question. Try and focus. So more taxes, more spending, and more regulations. The opposite of what conservatives believe. That's the answer, correct?
I don't think that one thing being bad means the opposite of it is good.
But yet, that's what you guys stand for. More spending, more taxes, and more regulation, correct?
Democrats don't stand for that. Democrats stand for as much
what do you stand for? Go ahead.
Spend.
Hold on a second. Do we have the 20-second liberal clock available? Is it handy?
The 20-second.
Go ahead, sir. Go right ahead.
I think what liberals support and what I support, at least for the tax system, is to close the loopholes that allow for absurdly rich people and corporations.
Like what loopholes exactly would you close? Liberal clock, go.
I personally think that the cap gains should go back to 20%, which is where it was originally supposed to be.
So the capital gains should go up to 20%. So that would attract foreign investment and people in this country who are sitting on their money to invest more, create wealth, create jobs, and create opportunity. A higher capital gains tax. Is that correct? Lib clock, go.
What I really think is that if you want to
And so when I said that you guys favor higher taxes, more regulation, and more spending, I was correct, wasn't I? Lib clock, go.
All right. Basically, jobs in the U.S. are not down or up because of what a president in the United States is doing.
So we don't need this president then. Jobs are up or down based on what? Go.
They're based on the international economy. They're based on the fact that labor standards outside of the U.S. are way lower than they are in the U.S.
Oh, well, how about that? That's never happened before, has it? Let me get this straight. So labor standards are different in Portugal and Peru than they are in America. Who knew? I never knew that. And may I ask you a question? Has that been going on for a long time, or did that just start under Obama? Go.
That's been going on for about 60 years or so, but it's been...
Really? So when Reagan was president and created a zillion jobs, and they were still paying slave wages in Botswana, isn't it amazing how we still created a zillion jobs in this country? How do you think we did that, Josh? Go.
Actually, Mark, no, it's not amazing, because the technology that's increased in the last 20 years or so has allowed companies to be able to go offshore and make it economically viable.
Sir, companies have been able to go offshore no matter what. And it's been economically viable whenever our government does what? Too much taxes, too much spending, too much regulation, which is what you liberals do. Go.
No matter what the tax rate in the U.S.
Pal, I'm never going to change your mind. Just remember, the first Wednesday in November, that's when you liberal Democrats vote. All the rest of us regular Americans, we vote on the first Tuesday in November. Don't forget, Josh. I'll be right back. John in Philadelphia, the great WNTP country. Go.
Hi, John. Hi, Mark. John, thank you for taking my call.
Yes.
I just wanted to respond to something that Jason said with respect to raising the capital gains tax from 20% to 15%.
No, from 15 to 20.
Right. That should bring it back up to 20. I've heard this argument a lot from people that are very liberal, and their argument is that it's a matter of fairness. And I just want to point out that if it's a matter of fairness, then, it's actually it's really not fair to the people in whom the wealthy suddenly don't invest because the capital gains tax is higher, because the rich are already rich, but the people and the products and the ideas that they invest in are not. And so, it leaves small people that have big ideas without any way to achieve them. So I just wanted to bring up that because I have heard people make this argument of fairness, and I think that they're looking at
that is an excellent point. Your point is people of modest means, they make investments, and not a lot of investments. Maybe they diversify, they get some stock, maybe they'll invest in a little company or something like that, and they happen to eke out a profit. This guy wants to increase the tax from 15 to 20%.
It takes the path away for small people that have really big ideas.
That's an excellent point, John. Thank you for your call. Yes, it does. But they want everything to be a class warfare argument. It only helps the rich. It's pathetic. Everything is government-centric. How much does the government need? How much do we give the government? Not what the people want, not what the people need, not your own private property rights and your own liberty. No. They're going to nickel and dime us to death. 15 to 20%, 30 to 35%. And to what end? Do you think they're going to actually take any of that money and apply it to the debt? You got to be kidding me.